So we are live once again. I've got you many different guests from different spheres of life and different industries as well. But today, the one person that I have is really special. She is an MP in Lok Sabha. She is author of many books. She's an environmentalist. Of course, she is a passionate animal rights activist. But above all, she's an extremely enigmatic personality who I have always been in awe of. Please welcome, ma'am, Menka Gandhi.
Hello.
Hi, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I am a little nervous, so please, because I really didn't think that this will happen. We've been planning for a while. But my first question is, how do you juggle all these different hats that you're wearing?
I have no idea. I give my best to each one that I can. And yes, we juggle them all the time.
But it's such what you do, everything is so overwhelming, be it being an MP in Lok Sabha or being an environmentalist or writer, because I myself write, so I know how it is, and of course animal rights. So that's these things are very overwhelming. So does it not get overwhelming for you?
It actually does, but there's a secret to this. What, I think that most of us can't cope with life on any level because we live 50% in the past and 50% in the future,
Right.
both of which are extremely painful. Because in the past, you don't remember happy times, you just remember all the mistakes you made. And the
Yeah.
future is always very frightening for everyone, especially in these times
Yeah.
when the possibilities of no future are larger than anything else. So, what I did was when I was about 28 or so, I realized that I could not live my life in fear. I could
Okay.
not keep thinking of what I had and what I was going to have. So, what I do is I treat every single day as my last. So, when
Okay.
I get up in the morning, I do all the things that I think are important so that the world ends for me every night. And
Okay.
so you find you achieve 1,000 times more. I never think of the future and I never think of the past. So everything
That's a
that is there is today.
That's a great mantra, because even I go through this fear of the unknown. I don't know, but there's always that thing. But because you deal with so many people who are, because when you talk about animal rights, especially, you are dealing with people's food, you are interfering with their business, they feel, you are interfering with their beliefs and religion as well. So, where do you get this sense of fearlessness? Or do you have a lot of fear as well?
No, I'm not scared of anything because I know that all I do the whole day, whether it's for people, whether it's for animals, whether it's for trees, is simply to lessen pain. The only thing that worries me is the huge amounts of pain that we have in the atmosphere because of our wickedness to each other. So,
Right.
what I try and do during the whole day is simply lessen the pain and lessen the pain in the weakest of the weak, the weakest human beings, animals, anything that I feel has been badly done by. I think that God gave me so much and I need to put back, 100 times more. And that's what I do with each day.
But how do you deal? See, like people like us, regular people, we go out and we see videos or we see actual pain happening to different species, and we can't do anything about it. We just move on. We feel bad for a few minutes, then we move on and start doing our own things. How do you cope with that? Like, because you're seeing
No,
so much.
I don't move on. I don't move on, no matter how small the problem is, how big it is. Now, every day I get about 800 emails, and
Yeah.
each one of them is asking for help. And during the day, I go through them personally. I can't do all 800, but I will do. I have a staff of three, and we try and do the maximum number every day. And it
Right.
ranges from I have two dogs in my house, and my neighbor is constantly abusing me. Then we will ask the neighbor to stop it. We're working with the police the whole day across India. Just now, 1 second ago, I received a call from a person who's reporting a pet shop in Bangalore, which is selling little chicks which have been dipped in chemical dye, which means that they will be dead within 5 days. So I
Right.
rang the pet shop. I've sent the police now to confiscate the chicks and to shut down the shop if necessary. But this is what should be done. We follow the law exactly.
But
I
do you,
stop and help, yes.
Sorry, but do you think that the law is being enforced? Because still there's so much animal cruelty on rise, especially like and we're talking about India right now, so it's everywhere, but still.
Well, before it wasn't understood at all. Now it has become something that everybody knows the laws, and the police
Right.
respond. So that means we have made several strides
Yeah.
towards ahead. Yes, the laws are weak, but they're still enforceable. And
Mm-hmm.
we then, whatever laws we have, we make sure that they're enforced.
All right, ma'am. Backyard breeding, especially in Punjab, I've been told is a huge issue.
Yeah.
And quackery. Would you like to address these two together?
Okay, so one, we were in court and we won the case, which stops cockfighting. It's
Okay.
mainly in Andhra, and now the police have to enforce the ban. Secondly, breeding, especially in Punjab, of bully dogs is a huge, huge nuisance for the rest of India because they go all over and they're very dangerous to society. So I have asked the Punjab government and they've brought out a rule saying bully dogs are banned. But breeding has been banned in India since 2018. Now it is up to the police and to the local state governments to take their own bans seriously. After all, it is not allowed. Pet shops and breeding are not allowed. So, but the point is that the government hasn't taken their own ban seriously. Now, when governments put a ban, that means they have considered every point of the subject,
Okay.
and it's been through many committees, everything. So, if government has banned it, then they should take it seriously.
But ma'am, you are associated with the BJP, but you work pan India. So doesn't it create conflict in your own work? Because a lot of your own governments are in power in most of the states,
Yeah,
where of course animal cruelty is happening. Laws are not being enforced. How do you deal with that?
I just deal with it. We do the best we can. I just do the best we can, and we talk at every level. If I have to talk to a minister, I talk to them. If I have to talk to an SHO, I talk to them. If I talk to a constable, I talk to them. But
Do
we
you
help
get any?
people
So I'm so sorry.
across.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we help people across India. Yes,
Do you get any support from the Prime Minister's office?
get support from everybody. In
Okay.
fact, the prime minister during COVID went out of his way to give a message. He spoke himself and he said that now that you're locked up, remember the animals on the street have nobody to feed them. So go out and feed them as well. And that was the first time any prime minister spoke like that. It was a very good message.
True, true. Of course, yeah. Ma'am, a lot of people are even asking on, you can read here, they are asking about cows, which was my next question anyway. Stray cattle, we talked a lot about stray dogs, especially in Gujarat where I have traveled, I've seen stray cattle. They're not a nuisance, unlike probably a stray dog would, barking and biting wise, but they do clog the roads, they're there. So what's the solution for that?
Now, the solution to it is don't drink milk. I
Right.
don't. Turn vegan. When you drink milk, you create cows because they have to be pregnant, they have to have children. You create slaughterhouses. So if you're going to drink milk, then don't complain because you have created the cow on the road. Do you think she wants to be there?
No.
No. But most of the cows on the road, especially in Gujarat, are let during the day. They're let free on the roads by dairies. So at night they're milked, in the morning they're milked, and then during the day they're let on the road. Go apna khana khud dhoond karke la.
Much.
So if you drink milk, you just simply don't have the right to even complain about cows.
Okay. And ma'am, what about beef exporting? Because
I'm
I
totally
don't know if
against.
it's true, but we are
I'm,
the biggest exporters of beef.
I know. But I'm totally against it because what we're exporting is not just the pain and the agony of the animal. What we're really exporting is our entire forests and water. It takes 60,000 liters of water to create one cow or buffalo. It takes every cow and buffalo has no food to eat because the people who grow them don't have land. So what they do is they let them graze in the forests. And so our forests have come down to 8% because you have thousands and thousands of beef animals eating up all the shoots of the new trees, the plants in the forest. Also, for every cow that you eat or that is exported, you've lost tigers, you've lost all your wild
Yeah.
cats
It's
because
a
the
food chain.
No, not because of that. It's because the shepherds who take these animals into the forest get scared that they will be eaten by tigers or leopards. So they first
Mm.
poison the water holes.
Oh, damn. Okay.
So what you're eating is not beef. What you're eating is India's entire water. What you're eating is the Hindu Muslim struggles because the cow has become the symbol of disaffection between the two communities,
Right.
in spite of the fact that both communities are involved in exploiting her. The Hindus will sell her, the Muslims will buy her. The
Right.
Hindus will drive the cars, the vehicles taking the cows for slaughter, and the Muslims will kill them in the slaughterhouses. So I'm saying that both are involved in this commercial trade of this poor animal. But it's leading to disaffection between both of them, using the cow as a reason. We need to stop it. If the Middle East wants to eat beef, they should grow their own beef. Sri Lanka has recently stopped the beef slaughterhouses, saying we'll buy it from India because they also know that you're not buying meat, you're buying water, you're buying forests, and
Okay.
nobody wants to sacrifice their greenery for the meat.
Okay.
Hmm?
But, but ma'am, when you said, like, I mean, a lot of comments are coming in. When you said that stop drinking milk, it's easier said than done. And
It's not. None of
there's
us
a
drink.
huge industry which will completely go, I
No,
mean,
so
I don't know where it
let
will go.
me understand this. Let me understand this. So you drink milk because you're a compassionate person and you want to support the industry.
No, no,
Then
no.
why is it that you don't sit on a tanga? When the tangas went, were you not supporting horses?
Mhm.
You should have supported that industry then. Why is it that you wear, why do you eat medicine? You're taking away the livelihood of doctors. If you stay well,
Exactly.
then they will go bankrupt. So why don't you get ill?
So
If you want to
they'll
support
get
it.
something else to do.
No, that's not the point. The point is, if for instance, 5 people drink milk, and that milk then affects 50,000 people because of the forests. At the moment, do you know, as I speak, it has just rained. It is raining now at the end of September because you can no longer control global warming. And 16% of global warming is due to our cows.
Oh,
It's due to the methane being released by livestock. And India is the largest contributor towards livestock export.
true.
We are having problems with our fluctuating patterns of weather. We're having problems because the Indian Ocean is the ocean that has been most affected by global warming. As a result, the rains around Africa are so huge that the locusts have been created and have become 500 times more. Now,
Yeah.
those locusts have come to India and they've eaten up thousands and thousands and thousands of acres of land. So, because you drink milk, my land should be eaten by locusts. Does nobody see the links? After all, nothing operates in isolation. It
It's
is
all connected.
nobody can afford anymore. Acha, if milk was good for you, I would say chalo karo, koi baat nahi. But milk is not. It's been linked specifically from everything to acne, diabetes, cancers. Kya nahi kiya hai? So what is it you want to poison yourself with? Why not have juice instead and save the Nagpur orange industry? So you
Mm.
can save another industry, not necessarily this one.
Talking about industry, I'll just move on to Bollywood because, after all your campaigning and struggle, finally there's a disclaimer that comes on every film since last many years saying that no animals were harmed. Hollywood has been doing it for many, many years. But do you think it's followed in letter and spirit?
No, I think that this thing is a new thing. Before that, what we had put in was that all of them had to send their films before they shot them, the script, and if they were going to use a single animal.
Right.
So this government then changed it a few years ago and said you can do self-regulation.
The
And
BJP
by just
government.
yeah, by just putting this thing in about no animals were harmed, and it's not true. Many animals have died. Many people have taken the films to court because they may put the disclaimer, but that doesn't mean anything.
Right. Because we see on screen what's happening. Like a recent film, I think I remember is Manikarnika. I actually could see horses falling down, and you can't.
That's right.
fake
No,
these
no,
kind of.
actually do fall down. It's not faked. And many of them die.
Right. And it's just again trial after trial, cases after cases, or
Yeah, just case
there's
after
no
case.
solution.
No.
I know another overwhelming problem. Talking about that, there was a recent problem at Sanjay Gandhi Animal Care Center in New Delhi. You put out an elaborate notice saying that we're shutting it down for
Yeah, we did shut it
complete
down.
overhaul. Yeah.
I
So
have zero tolerance for anything doing cruelty. It so happened that this particular compounder, and he had been with us for 4 years, and he was a good
right.
compounder. He got into some kind of deal with a new couple that had come there, which this couple has been to several other shelters and done identical things. They have an animal beaten, they film it, they then send it viral, and that shelter then is shut down. But this has happened in three shelters which they have done. And we then became a shikar for the same thing. So they ran away with that dog, was beaten. It was a horrible
Hmm.
thing. And then they ran away with the dog and then just gave interviews, which is what they'd come there to do. So immediately we filed cases because I wasn't here. I was in Hyderabad for a wedding. And my sister, who's the manager, she was in Bombay. But
Okay.
that's why they took that. No, that's why it happened because neither of us were there.
You
But
were not
immediately,
there.
no, so immediately I shut it down. And Sanjay Gandhi will only open now after it is complete. At the moment, we bash the whole hospital down, and every single thing is being changed. It'll take me about 6 months, and then we'll set it up and it'll be bigger and better.
Ma'am, where do you get the support for all this? Does your family, like everybody is involved in it, or what about the monies, the donations? How does it?
Well, we don't get anything from the government. We depend solely on small donations. We don't make much money from companies or anything like that. What we do is we try and make each hospital sustain itself. I have 30 of them.
Right.
And what they do is they have an OPD where we charge the lowest amount in the country. We charge 200 rupees as
Okay.
registration. We have, we people who want the animals rescued, they give a donation. Basically, things even out. And most of the time, we're in the red terribly. But then I'll sell something. I sell a painting, or I'll sell something that I
Hmm.
own, or we have a fundraiser. And karte karte, so far we've been able to drag it.
पर ये इतनी बड़ी कंपनियां जो हैं आपके वेबसाइट पे भी रिलायंस टाटा सब हैं तो आई एम श्योर उनका सीएसआर होता है वहां पर दे कैन ऑलवेज पुट इन
Actually,
10%
for the
फॉर
first
एनिमल्स
time, I wish they would. I wish they would. For the first time, we are approaching them now for CSRs because we're dead broke, and I need somebody to come and make my hospital in Sikkim. They have no animal hospitals. So
राइट
yesterday, I got some land in Sikkim just yesterday, and now I'm looking for some miracle person to come and build that hospital. I also got a hospital which is half built in Guwahati, and I
ओके
want somebody to finish that. And so I'm crossing my fingers.
ultimately nobody can deny that what you're doing is a noble cause. You're definitely not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for people who don't, for animals who don't have a voice. And chota mo badi baat, I will obviously put out links that you send me on the description of this video, and I'll do what I can to drum up support. But who is your biggest support system? Is it your family? Is it
No,
people
my biggest
within?
support system is the universe. You know, seriously.
Ma'am, I'll be honest.
Awesome.
I watched your interview with Simi Garewal last night before this interview, and I just was in awe of like the way you were talking, and there were so many things that you were saying. And I think, if I'm not wrong, I heard that you turned vegetarian after a certain while. So,
After I
kya
got married,
hua? Like, what changed within you?
and nothing. I was always looking after animals, and yet I was eating them. And I didn't realize that because when you grow up in the army and it's a Sikh family in the army,
Mhm.
nobody says this is an animal. It's put on your plate and you eat it. And then my husband said to me, he just said that your whole day you go on saving animals and at night you eat them. ये हमसे अजीब लगता है. So either you stop it, stop saving them, or you stop talking about it.
Right.
And that was so frightening that I came to terms with, I came to terms with reality. I saw myself in the mirror and I didn't like what I saw. So that night itself, I became vegetarian and then vegan.
Oh, you're vegan now. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't consume milk. I mean, I know. I mean, I feel going vegan is going to take a huge time for everyone. I know we're pressed for time. I'm almost done with all the questions. But one question that just popped into my mind is, what are your thoughts on PETA? Like, it is so overwhelming for a layperson to know whether it's doing good or bad.
What, Peter?
Yeah, like, because so many controversies always.
You know, in life, if you do anything, it will be controversial. And it depends on who wants to make the controversy. For instance, I've actually been to places where somebody will say, What do you do?" And the person next to me will say, "Oh, I'm looking after blind people." And they'll say, "Oh, but there are not many blind people. Why aren't you looking after deaf people?" So, there are always people to say that. Each person has to do their dharma. All of us are put here to do good. All of us. We're not put here to make money. We're not put here to become ministers and other things. Who remembers those people? Who do we remember, especially in India, and who do we worship? Fakirs. The person who has nothing and yet does everything is the person who's remembered. So if you remember that, then you will find that things go much more smoothly. That's if you want to be remembered. And you asked me about PETA. PETA is People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals in America. They do
Right.
very good work. They do very good work, as does every animal welfare organization. Remember, this is the hardest field to go into. You have to be totally committed for it because it doesn't bring you money, it doesn't bring you anything. And within the movements itself, there are many people to criticize you
Right.
because victims always attack each other. It's the crab syndrome.
Right.
So you can expect nothing but criticism from your own people.
Right.
And so, but you go in there only because, जैसे कि मेरी अर्जुन की आंख is on the helpless. It's on the lessening of pain. So even if you have done one thing in your life to lessen pain, if you have not broken a leaf from a tree, if you have said, "I'm not going to eat meat again," that in itself is good enough for me.
Right.
So PETA does very well. My organization, People for Animals, does very well. And so does the wonderful girl, 16-year-old, who comes out of her house at night to feed 5 dogs. And she does the best of all.
But what would you say about, like, since you are talking about strays, there is a counter view about how strays also attack people, and then they become like they become very aggressive.
ऐसे
भौंकते
है
हैं
बेटे,
पूरी रात तो उनका क्या करें फिर?
ऐसे है बेटे. The no dog, if we're just talking about dogs, firstly, we don't call them strays, we call them indies. Hmm?
Okay, all right.
Indian dogs, Indian independent dogs. Yeah.
Okay.
So, firstly, they don't become aggressive unless you're repeatedly mean to them. If you're repeatedly mean to me, you're going to get a massive amount of aggression from me as well. So, the
I
point is, if
wouldn't dare.
I hope not, but a lot of, I'm saying that if you every day hit a dog with a stick, every day throw a brick at it, what would you expect him to do? Firstly. Secondly, all the time he's thinking, where am I going to eat? How should I eat? Who's going to feed me? So he's already lives life at the edge of nervousness. If there's, to think of him as yourself in another form. Do you think that we won't come back? There's so much scientific evidence that we are born again and again and again. Do you really want to be reborn as him? If you don't worry about it, you will come back as him. So why not just make his life slightly better? And if, for instance, you do a small thing, I'll give you an example. My mother used to keep clothes in her car. And whenever she saw a child begging, she would take out those clothes, measure them, and give them to them. Such a
Okay.
small thing. And yet it changed her life. It's just so simple to be nice.
And
And it's so simple to stand for good. And
it
it's
feels
helps
good
you a
too.
lot.
It feels good too.
Yeah, it feels so good. The buying things or retail therapy is really doesn't give you as much joy as giving them away. And
Absolutely.
so why not stop thinking of them as, oh, strays that bark on the road and are aggressive? If you're not aggressive to them, they won't be aggressive to you.
Okay.
95%, beta, listen to this statistic. 95% of all the bites taking place in India, I can't speak for the rest of the world, are from pet dogs because they are trained to protect their owners. So they get aggressive. It's not the dog on the road. You have to go out of your way to be mean to that dog, for that dog to be mean to you. Okay?
Okay.
So if we stop thinking, just think of yourself. Life is in so many forms. Yeah? But each form, whether it's the little ant that runs if you put your finger near it, each form demands to be saved and it demands life. If you just think of yourself as that form and live life with empathy, not sympathy,
Yeah.
whoever you're talking to is you. You are me. I am you. Then we will not be mean to each other, either in thought or word or deed. So if you thought of everything as yours, firstly belonging to you, and secondly you, then the people tree is you. The grass that you pull out and shove into your mouth while sitting is you.
It's
The
you.
meat on your plate is you. Then you'll suddenly find that things change.
Right, ma'am, ये मेरा सवाल नहीं है. I know you have to go. Just tell me when you really have to must go. I'll end the interview nicely.
Okay,
But this ये
which
मेरा सवाल नहीं है.
mm,
Mirabel is asking, why don't you get into mainstream politics more than what you are right
Betty,
now?
do you realize that I am the longest serving parliamentarian in parliament? I've won the maximum number of times, so there is a place for doing good. And I've
Yeah.
done it on my terms. I don't compromise at all. So I'm an 8-time member of parliament, which nobody in parliament is. So I'm already in mainstream politics. What do you mean by mainstream
No,
politics? Do
no.
you mean
Yeah.
politics? I've been a minister umpteen times, in and out and in and out. I don't lose elections. But the
Oh,
point is, what is mainstream politics? Is it just sitting there being mean to people and doing deals? Is that mainstream politics? Or is what I do mainstream politics?
I guess the general concept misconception rather is the latter.
Exactly.
Is
And
the former. Sorry. Sorry.
I'm not only in mainstream politics, I am what mainstream politics should be.
Right. But ma'am, one last question from me. You've got everybody knows you as Menka Gandhi, so you have this huge name attached to yourself. Do you think it's power or is it problem?
No, it's wonderful. I'm so proud of my husband. I'm so proud of my family. I'm so proud of what I've done. I hope that they're going to be proud of me when they meet me next. But it's nothing to
You,
do with power or not. Yes, it does give you power, but it could give you, I think I've used that, whatever God gave me, in the best possible way. So, whatever God has given me in terms of my, whatever you see as power, has been more, I see it more as responsibility, not power.
ma'am, you said when you meet them next. Did you mean in this life or next?
No, I mean upstairs.
But do you meet anyone in this life? Do you like? We don't know. Like
I'm
I'm just
available all the
asking.
time. No, I'm in my constituency. I'm available all the time on the phone. I answer just about everybody. I try and interact the most that I can, but I hardly go out for
Okay.
recreation or holidays. Maybe that's just not my thing. I don't, what happens is if you're comfortable within your own skin, then you don't have to rush off somewhere else to be happy. And you're
Right.
happy or not happy wherever you are.
But what do you do when you're not saving animals or not being in the Lok
Watching
Sabha?
films.
What do you do?
Watching films.
You watch films?
I watch a lot of films.
Really? What kind? Bollywood, Hollywood?
All of them. Everything.
Right. Which was the last film you saw?
Films. Oh my God, the last film I saw was The Empire, which is the history of Babar.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah, I watch that. I read a lot. I write. So I'm always doing something. And otherwise, I'm in the garden. I have a forest around my house, so I go and watch the birds there.
If I'm lucky enough, if ever I come back to whenever I come back to India and come to Delhi, I like to have a tour of
Sure,
that.
come and see it. It's the only forest house in the whole of Delhi.
Okay, I'm really looking forward to that. I don't know whether you mean it or not, but I do.
Sure, come and see me.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was really, really wonderful talking to you. I was needlessly nervous, I feel.
No,
I
don't need to
was
be.
prepping up and all of that. But yeah, thank you so much. You've been so humble and kind. And I would
Thank
like to talk to you more whenever you have more time. If my channel is yours, if ever you want to promote anything here regarding your causes,
Yes,
I'm
yes,
always
at the
there.
moment, I need desperately a Sikkimese millionaire who wants to.
Okay.
So
So
if you
many,
can find a millionaire who comes from Sikkim and would like to put some money back into it, please tell
well,
him I'm waiting for him.
he could be from anywhere. It doesn't have to be Sikkim. He just needs to give you the support
He
that
just
you need.
needs to build the hospital in Sikkim. Yeah.
Right.
Actually, I bought an ambulance for Sikkim recently as the first animal ambulance in the whole of Sikkim. And it suddenly changed everybody's attitude. This one vehicle has changed everybody's attitude from having one person who was an animal welfare person in Sikkim. Now they suddenly have over 1,000. And wherever the ambulance goes, people, are warm towards it. And that's how the land has come. Somebody's donated it. So you see how a small thing can change all of life.
Okay. The people are going crazy asking questions. Somebody's asking, please ask 10 times. Illegal breeding needs to stop and sterilization of strays needs to happen.
Basically,
Indies.
illegal breeding, it's already illegal. The word she's put it herself, that
Yeah.
it's illegal. Now you need to go and complain to the police. Every time you find a pet shop or a breeder, complain to the police. How long will they stop?
Right.
Secondly, the sterilization of strays needs to happen much more. It's already happening, but yes, it needs to happen much, much more. Okay,
Right.
thank you.
Okay, thank you. And this last, we'll end it with a beautiful comment by Aditi saying, just say please hi to her and tell her I love her and
That's so
she's
sweet.
beautiful, which I agree.
That's so sweet. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a nice
Bye.
day ahead. Bye. Thank you. All right, that was Maneka Gandhi live and exclusive on my channel. I hope you guys enjoyed the chat as much as I did. I'm sorry I couldn't take too many questions because she had really given me only 20 minutes, but she was there for like 35 minutes. And I had my own questions, so many of them. So I couldn't ask many questions, but yeah, I will try and do more stuff like this and get more important people who have the answers to all the questions that we have. So thank you so much for joining in, all of you. Not many people joined in today as I couldn't promote this interview because I wasn't sure really whether it will happen or not. But whoever joined in, thank you so much. And as always, you can chat with me on Instagram. It's @review on Facebook. And you can subscribe here if you find my videos worth it. And also, let me remind you before I go, the new course that I have taken up with Graphy is going to be on Saturday, which is 9th of October, 11 a.m. IST. It's Mastering Communication for Independent Content Creation. You can join in if you're looking to do something like that, or if you've missed my last few sessions that I've done with Graphy by an Academy. This is happening next Saturday at 11 a.m. So the link of that is also in the description. But as always, even if you don't do any of these things, thank you so much for watching this one. Please take care of yourself and those around you. Jai Hind.